Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, the Queen Bee, Danny Wallace. How are you feeling?
As we chat this morning to the devilishly handsome, the fabulously wonderful, the incredibly knowledgeable Mr. Fidel Bohill, the modern man. Good morning. Jodie Salt, good morning. Bab Naredi, good morning. Elise Woodbine, good morning. The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon, good morning, sir.
Shut up, for f***'s sake. Jesus.
The fantastic Lizzie Jackson Barrett, good morning. Josephine, Sandra, everybody, good morning.
Good morning. Hello to the Hive and everybody on the Queen Bee Danny page. My name's Louisa Herridge and I am privileged to be guest hosting today for the fabulous Danny Wallace. Good morning, Diane. Straight over the line today. Lovely to see you. And I'm sure I saw you yesterday on the Rockstar Takeover. What a fabulous show that was. So hi Danielle. I've been invited here to guest host for Danny and I am so thrilled. I'm a speaker, writer and survivor of domestic abuse, teacher by day. So I'm currently found behind teams teaching my lessons and I'm leading the Mamas Ignited movement. So I am here loud and proud to inspire all mums, all women to know that if they don't love the life they live, they can find more. And I've got an amazing Ignited programme, which you will be hearing more about. I will be on Danny's show in the next few weeks to talk more about that. So I am here as one of Danny's mastermind. I am privileged that I am on the Be Inspired mastermind. I will be taken to the stage, hopefully, if COVID does one, in April the 23rd, with an amazing cohort of powerful, inspiring women. And we will be storming Manchester. So I can't wait for that. I first had the privilege of meeting Danny at Womany Fest last year. And my God, like the rest of you, she literally launched herself into my life. And she takes hold of you, doesn't she? So it's come from there. So let's see who we've got. We've got Joe Swan, good morning. Bev, hi Bev. Bev's been really influential to me in helping me make that choice to take the step onto the mastermind back in September when I had serious imposter syndrome. So Bev, forever grateful. Kimberly, hi, good morning. Joe, yes, Womany Fest was awesome. What a day it was. Danny was literally throwing her shit emojis into the crowd, walking around with this bee outfit on. I was like, who is this woman? I need a piece of that. So yeah, it was definitely one. And if only we could have another one of those. But I am sure there will be time once COVID has gone. Who else have we got? Vicky, lovely to see you there. Good morning. So we have got a fabulous guest coming up. But before that, Danny always likes to talk about the weather, shit weather. I'm pretty sure the weather's shit everywhere today. Yeah, I can just see rain outside my window. So I was thinking, instead of a weather map, we'll do a little moon map. The last few days, I don't know about you guys, but I have really felt the pressure of the moon. I don't know how to get that comment off, sorry. Trying to get you off. I can't get you off. Oh, there we go. Sorry, Joe, I was trying to... Oh, I was in a good flow there. Anyway, we'll carry on. Hi, Helen. The moon has really been... I've been feeling the pressure. So I want to hear from you out there. Have you had a bad... Thank you. Click back on it. No, it won't. Thank you, Joe. Yay. Have you felt the pressure of the moon the last few days? Yeah, I think this sums it up, Danielle. Shit weather, definitely. The last few days, I have felt this pressure, and tonight is the full moon. So let me know in the comments if you have felt the moon causing you mischief. Danny said she only got half an hour's sleep last night, and she ended up on the sofa. I have been dreaming like crazy. I felt this pressure and this absolute need to cry. So let me hear from you. Has anybody had some moon mischief going on? And yep, Vicky's had some moon mischief. And also, it's not going to be a good day to combine homeschooling with full moon for those of you with children out there. So my thoughts are with you homeschoolers today. Right, so we have got an amazing guest coming on today. I was reading up on her last night, following her. She probably thinks she's got a new stalker because I've been following her all on Facebook and Instagram, finding out about her. And she is going to share some of her incredible tips. And one of them I think we'll all need to listen to. She speaks about having non-negotiable time, and I think we all need a bit of help with that at the moment. Right, what we're saying here, let's go to the chat. Kimberly, I struggled to sleep last night and yesterday was intense. Yeah, the struggle is real, that the pressure of the moon, she's really out there. Emma Hull, yeah, kept waking up. It's weird, isn't it? My little girl, she said the same. She kept waking up last night and finding that she kept imagining that she was dressed up as a lampshade. Weird. Claire, hi, nice to see you, Claire. Lovely, thanks for the support. Hi, Becca, my lovely cousin. Lovely, thank you for being here, Becca. Right, so without further ado, because I could literally talk to you all day, we've got the amazing Leigh Howes coming up. She is an incredible executive coach, and she is helping leaders across the world embrace their leadership so they can live their best life. And she's got some amazing strategies for personal contracts, non-negotiable time, and we all want to hear from her today. So let's bring on Leigh. Welcome. Are you there, Leigh?
Good morning. I am.
Good
Can you hear me?
morning. Hi, how are you?
I'm really well, and I was just listening to you talking about the moon and thinking, oh my goodness, that's why I've been feeling. I was very teary yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
the struggle is, yeah, definitely. I'm all over the moon. I am new to the woo world. I had a really funny conversation with Danny last week in one of my one-to-ones, and I said, I'm not really that woo. And then we went on to talk about all the things that I do, and she's like, really? And I was like, yeah, maybe I am more woo.
You're a closet woo person. That's
closet
woo. Moon is bringing it out.
Oh, Helen's telling us a bit more about the moon. On a full moon, we need to tune into our feminine energy, relax and allow, not do.
Well, that's interesting, because I was saying that yesterday, that I really think you just need to, sometimes when you're having a crap day, you just need to down tools and just go, you know what, I'm having a crap day. And at
the moment, there's probably more crap days for some people than good. Closet, Danielle's got it. Closet woo. That's me. I'm closet woo. Well, I put on my page, my group the other day, the Bloomery, about, is anyone else feeling this pressure? And there's a few moonologists in my group, and one of my good friends, Nikki, she came on and did a moon session last night, and it really made sense. So,
well, I've got a very good friend who is into astrology, and she was saying about the spring, I think it's the spring equinox, and we shouldn't be, because there's all me talking about strategy at the start of the year, and she's like, we shouldn't be doing that. We should just be sitting and planning and, you know, kind of getting our heads together and then pushing through. And it makes sense, because it
does.
Really January. It's like, maybe we should just wait until Q2 and go crazy.
Absolutely. Oh, Bev's saying, I did that on Monday, wasn't feeling it, cleared my diary and had a mooch Monday. Yes.
Monday. That needs to be a thing, I reckon.
That does need. Let's make
a contract. Mooch Monday.
Actually, speaking of mooch Monday, I did my first mooch on Monday. I had to go into work because I'm a teacher as well as Mama's Ignited leader. That's my day job. I've got 2 hats. And I had to go into school to do my skill reports. And I've not left the house for weeks. And I was like, ooh, the range is open. So I did have a mooch around the range and spent 60 quid on stuff that I didn't.
The range is open. Like, how is that?
Well, they've managed to sneak an Iceland in there.
Oh, I see. I went to Iceland. I started my career in Iceland.
No way.
In recruitment. How funny is that?
You could have been working. You could have had a range discount card.
I was going to say, I didn't get to go to range when I was there.
Yeah,
Oh, that's annoying.
I think that snuck in the first lockdown.
Love that.
Bit sceptical there. Anyway, Leigh, tell us about yourself. So
I
what
hate
do you
talking
do?
about I much prefer being the person asking the question.
There's the questions.
Apart from Mooch Monday and talk about the moon. So I'm basically a leadership and business performance coach and strategist. That's kind of the title that I give myself. What does that mean? Well, that means I literally love anything to do with leadership and business and performance. I sort of combine the lot. And I work with, there's two types of leaders that I work with. There's the leaders who don't think they're leaders and they run a business and they normally run it single-handedly, or they might have one or two working alongside them, but they haven't embraced that piece of leadership. And my job is really to go, hang on a minute, you are a leader, let's step up as a leader, let's get you embracing what that means and the structure and the strategy and everything else that you want your business to look and feel like. And then there's the more what I call established leaders. I normally say these are the leaders that sit at the top of the tree who just feel very much on their own, like they're carrying the world on their shoulders, super successful, but probably don't have anyone as a sounding board. And that's when I liken myself. If anyone's watched Billions, I often get compared to the lady Wendy Rhodes in Billions. So I'm a bit like that. So I get under their skin and give them space really to just remove the mask and just be and help them navigate whatever that next step might be. So I work with two different types of leaders.
Yeah. It can be hard, can't it, to brand yourself as a leader? And I think in my sort of career in teaching, leadership has only come into play in the last sort of 5 or 6 years. It was always management. Yes. And it was always that. And I remember going on courses called middle management, because I've been at middle management level, but then it suddenly shifted to leadership. And it's like, I mean, how do you see the difference between management and leadership? Is there a difference?
Honestly, yeah, there probably is. I mean, I don't get hung up on it. I'm a very simple person, so you'll hear sort of analogies from me and all sorts. What you see is what you get. And is there a difference? I don't know. You could call it what you want, right? Essentially, I think management probably conjures up this. Oh God, you probably a bit autocratic, maybe in the old school days, but I don't think that's fair to give it that kind of like title really. Whereas leadership for me is really about leading from the front, taking people with you. And you know, the piece why I think people get confused is they think, well, I haven't got anyone working for me, so how can I be a leader? But you lead yourself and you're leading your business. And I'm so passionate about that because I think it's a confidence piece. People just don't recognise that actually you're the CEO of your business. You ultimately are the captain of your ship and you make the decision. So
absolutely.
We've got to lead. If we're not leading others, we've just got to embrace that self-leadership and just really step up.
And it really does. It comes down to mindset and imposter syndrome, can't it? Because even at the highest level, it can still strike you, and you can, you know, I feel like this as a mum. Sometimes I was like, who gave me this child? Who's left me in charge of her?
I think that every day, seriously, every day. Like, especially like, really? now. I mean, you're a teacher. I'm definitely a teacher. I know that.
Well, the irony at the minute, I mean, I'm a teacher, so it's actually nice to be talking to a person that's responding, because I'm spending most of my life on Teams talking to a blank screen with no pupils.
I know. I'm the same. I don't know if you're there, because I think I used to do a lot of work. My business was quite online pre-COVID anyway, so I was very fortunate. But you're absolutely right. I feed off of an audience.
Absolutely.
And I love a chat. Like, this to me is just heaven, because if the postman comes to my door now, I'm just like, I want to have a conversation with you because you're not part of my family and I just need to talk to someone. I think my thing's going crazy.
My little girl Emily's like, Mummy, why do you talk to everyone? I'm like, but I've noticed her doing it now. She'll be like, if we're out and about, she'll say something and she'll say it a bit louder because she wants somebody to like hear what she says and then have like a conversation with her. So
I do that when I'm walking the dog all the time. Like, anyone in the woods is like, social chat. Should we chat? Who are you?
Oh, I know. I was on the school run yesterday and I saw somebody I've not seen for years, and like we had this conversation. It was like a real person in real life. Normally we're all like, it's like a scene from The Handmaid's Tale. We're all like ushering round with our masks on.
If you've got a mask on, I can't have a conversation. I think the thing is as well, I've realised that I don't often wear my contact lenses, so my eyesight's terrible, and I don't realise how much I lip read.
Do you know what?
It sounds ridiculous. So I can't. If someone's mask,
I can't.
I don't often know what they're talking about.
That's one thing I've learned. What did 2020 teach you? I lip read a lot. Honestly,
don't realise.
yeah, we don't realise it at all.
Yeah,
so anyway, before we totally go off on a tangent, there's people watching. Hi. So I didn't realise there was people out there. Oh, Tammy's joined us. Morning, Tammy and Claire. Hello, Claire. Nice to see you. Right. So I know you don't like talking about you, but can you just, for people that haven't come across you before, can you tell us a little bit about, you mentioned working at Iceland. So how did you go from there to here? What brought you to this work?
What journey? I'll try and do it quickly because like I say, I like a chat. Okay, so life for me started out very accidentally. When I sort of school, I loved business. I'll do this really quick, I promise, because I'm obviously be here forever. Loved business, I became like a PA. But I was really good as a PA because I'm super, super organised, but I don't like being told what to do. So very quickly, I fell into an office management role in recruitment, and I really liked it. And all of the people that were working there at the time wanted these high profile recruitment jobs. I was running the office. It's a family business. And then we got some telesales stuff came in, and I thought no one wanted it because there wasn't enough money in it. And I said, well, I'll give it a go. So anyway, I realised I was pretty good at recruitment really early on. And then I applied for a job at Iceland as a recruitment officer. Never in a million years thought I'd get it. So I had very little experience, and they hired me. And my career really started there, and it took off really quickly. So I was looking after the appliance showrooms at the time, recruiting all their appliance showrooms. And hard job to recruit for. They had I think they were paid like $9,000 a year, but could earn 30. That was how much commission they had.
Yeah.
Then I moved and progressed into HR, became the regional HR manager within Iceland. Then I was headhunted, weirdly, to go to KFC. And I was a bit, not really sure this is for me, but what an incredible business to work for, because they're part of Yum Restaurants International, which is a massive global brand. Pizza Hut is one of the other brands that works within them. Amazing. Huge on development, huge on leadership. That's really where sort of all of my development come from. They're really invested in their people. And I moved my way, did lots of HR roles with them, and then was heading up HR for KFC, and then moved across to Pizza Hut, did a head up HR role over there. And then at that point I'd had my first child. And really for me, what happened was I wanted to go 4 days a week, where the personal contract comes from. I wanted to go 4 days a week, and it was like my career had plateaued, and I couldn't have both. And I just thought, a bit stubborn. I'm not really sure that's how I want things to be. And one thing led to another, and I ended up with my own business, but did it all wrong. Everything I knew about strategy and, operations, and I was very strategic, very hot on budgets. I did none of it when I came out to work for myself. So I had really good months, and then really it was just feast or famine for a long time. I could keep going. So there's a journey of kind of when I started my business, but I guess my career background led me because I was hot on leadership, hot on coaching. All of our area managers were called area coaches at the time. So they were, I had all of this very much ingrained before it became a thing.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because your path that you're on, sometimes, I straight out of university, I ended up working in a call centre to pay. I was doing a master's at the time in script writing, and I was working in the call centre, ended up getting a sales manager job, ended up doing coaching, and I hated it. But little did I know that now, 15 years later, all those skills and those management, those sales leadership, all of those skills that I learned at that really young age, I was only 21, fresh out of uni, has really embedded. So I think, when you look at, somebody doesn't just arrive in a business, do they? I think everything, the pieces that you bring together all take you on that leadership path. And I think, like you said yourself, Becca's said here, she says, love that statement, super organised but hate being told what to do. So you were always going to have your own business. My
dad had his own business as well, so I think I was although he worked for himself, he didn't ever hire anyone because he didn't want anyone. He wanted to basically run his business himself, so he didn't ever scale. And I've always been sort of quite rebellious. I'm very much a challenger of the status quo. If you tell me something can't be done, I'm going to try and find a way that it can. I definitely have an only child. I'm quite independent. So I think, there's a lot of stuff over the years that's probably led me to be like that.
How long has your company, what's your company called? Sorry?
2012. We're talking about 2020. What am I talking about? I'm so confused. Like we've been locked.
What year is it? Yeah.
I don't know what the year means. Yeah, 2012.
2012.
Now I was 5 months pregnant actually with my second.
Oh my gosh.
I know, and it was really cool because the first assignment within about a week was Pizza Express. I had a really cool brand to work with. So things were, I think that was part of the issue and why I'm so passionate about what I do now is because I didn't take the time to stop and lay the foundations and, you know, build that business on what I call like the concrete rather than sand. I built it on sand. So it was very wobbly. And that's why I sort of did all of that feast or famine, which so many business owners struggle with. And it wasn't what I wanted. I came out, my vision has been really clear since I started. I just really didn't take the time to build the vehicle, which is mad considering, like you say, I had the transferable skills. We were incredibly strategic. I was working at a very strategic level. I worked with the board of directors at KFC. You know, these guys don't mess around. So it wasn't like I didn't know, but it was almost like someone had extracted it from my head when I came out. And I see a lot of corporates do the same.
Absolutely. You just mentioned, sorry, I've got problems with my eye, and it's because I haven't worn makeup for that long. My eye is rejecting it. And it's like you're wearing something that isn't a legging. You have got something that resembles eye makeup on, and you've washed your hair before 11 a.m. We're not sure what's going on today. So I'm sorry, I keep messing with my eye. My apologies.
When your eyes are still, well, I wear contact lenses, and the reason I don't hardly wear them is because
I've had loads of problems over the years with this eye, but the last 12 months of wearing no makeup have helped. Anyway, what I was going to say is you mentioned that when you started in 2012, you were pregnant with your second child. So do you think this is something that I'm really interested in, part of the mastermind that my talk that I'm going to be doing with Danny, I'm not going to give it away, but this is really interesting so I think the universe has aligned us today. I definitely need to come and get in your DMs, I think, afterwards. Do you think being a mum and having that time away, did that have anything to do? Because I'm
hugely
wanting to empower mums that if they don't love the life they're in, that they can reignite their careers, they can change. You don't have to settle for your lot in life. So I just wondered your thoughts on that. Did that have everything to do with it?
50%, if there was even a number like that. I think what happens is I actually love this conversation because I worked in HR. So I'd sat on the other side of the table so many times with returning mums. And I thought I understood it until I became a mum. And I don't think it's one of those things, isn't it? You think you empathise, but when you're actually in it, it's a totally different ballgame.
Totally, yeah.
I think I was really lucky that I took 14 months away from work. I'm not your typical maternal mum. I'll be really honest. Like, I love my kids, but I like to work. I was very career orientated. I was always the last to leave the office. I was a grafter, and I'm a workhorse, and I still am. And I think what happened was taking 14 months off dipped my confidence, really hit me because I just wasn't working. I find that if I go on holiday for a long period of time, I take chunks of time off. When I come back, it takes me a little while to get back into the flow.
Same.
I think there was that combined with this, my outlook to life had changed. Before it was just me and my husband. And then I had this small person. And at the time I was working in an office down in Surrey and living in Hertfordshire. So that's quite a commute. And so you've got this whole, oh my goodness, what if something happens and I can't get back quickly enough? So it just changes everything. And then you go back, and if you're not able to step back to where you were, I just think it's just it's a combination of so many factors. So yes, I 100% think, and I do believe I do what I do today because I become a mum.
100%, yeah. When I was when I was on maternity leave, I started writing a blog, and it was like you have that time, even though you have no time because you've got a baby, but you also have so much time of endless nights and endless feeds and so on. It's like a really weird continuum of time, isn't it? And I started writing a blog, and I went to Blogfest, which was with Mumsnet down in London, and it was absolutely amazing. And I heard Mira Sayel speak, and she spoke about the birth of the mother self. And I think Owenna, she talks a lot about this as well. And it's the idea that, like you said, you can never empathise. You can never, don't worry, Bev, thanks for being here. You think you know, but you can never, ever know until you're there. And she spoke about the birth of the mother self and that when the baby's born, a lot of people forget that the mother's born, and you have to become a different person. And then there's all the, like, you know, you then for the rest of your life have to juggle, don't you? You've never had to juggle before.
No, it's like somebody else becomes, you know, obviously so much more important. And I think the thing, like the way that and organically who I attract to me, I don't just work, not everyone I support is a parent, and I don't just work with women, but I think the people that are drawn to me, because I'm so passionate about that personal contract and doing things your way, leading your business, and not trying to fit into, like, you know, square peg round hole, like that does not work. And I do believe that's driven from this ultimate desire, probably because I was incredibly sold. I don't like being told what to do. So when I returned to work, it was like, you've got to either be full-time career or mum. And I'm like, because this was going back a few years, it's very different now. And I work for a very supportive company. So I'm not suggesting that they weren't supportive.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just was never going to work. So I think to be able to support parents and show them that there is another way, I think it's really important, because there's so many talented women and parents. I think it's men and women, yeah, parents who have stepped away from their career because their priorities have changed. And I think in today's society, it's not necessary. I really believe that. I'm very passionate about it.
Honestly, I'm definitely going to be messaging you later, because there's a lot of research that I need to do that. You've mentioned, and I mentioned it at the start, about your personal contracts. And Danny I was chatting to Danny about you, and she said that you've really helped her put her non-negotiable boundaries in. I just wondered if you could just share and enlighten us, because I expect at the moment boundaries are very difficult.
Yes, they're definitely being compromised at the moment. It's funny because I've got I don't know if Claire's still on. Claire Sweet bought me this cup, and it says, "I am a joy bringer." And I'm sharing it. This personal contract is about the joy. So there's a part along my journey which I haven't shared. In 2017, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I think what had happened along the way was I had realised my business wasn't bringing me joy. And what I'd done is I'd started, because I hadn't done those foundations, I'd created not a business monster. There was a lot of it I loved, but I hadn't found this right vehicle. And what was happening was I was basically working with clients. Clients who were they needed me to work evenings, they needed me to work weekends, and I didn't really realize that I didn't want to work evenings and I didn't want to work weekends, because let's go back, I hadn't done the foundation stuff. So what I'd started to do before that diagnosis was had started to make some changes. When the diagnosis came, and obviously you can imagine, I was broken for a period of time. It was
unbelievable.
It was a awful time. I'm not anyone that's been through it or anything similar. It's not a pleasurable experience to go through. But for me, one of the things that I learned through the process is looking for the gift that's kind of packaged within it. And perspective was that gift.
Absolutely.
So that this has always been part of me. But I think that happening just like reinforced how important every single minute of every single day is. Yeah. And also, where does your joy come from? Like, what is the stuff that makes you happy? And too often as a business owner, we get so immersed in, spinning around this blinking hamster wheel that we forget why we started it in the first place, which for me was about freedom and about choices, and I didn't have those things. So what ended up happening off the back of that, I took some time off, come back, and then I really rebranded my business in 2019, and it's really just grown exponentially since then. But the thing that I bought was this personal contract, and it's something I've created. It's just it's a Leigh model, and essentially,
I like it.
When we were employed, like you work for a decent employer, this is me, HR hat on. You have a contract of employment, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens. You get hired, you have a contract of employment, and in that contract of employment, it will tell you what you do, what your pay is, how many hours you work, and what you're there to do. And yet we come out into this business and we do none of that for ourselves. We might hire people in and we might give them a contract, but we don't do it with ourselves. So I was just like, we need personal contracts. Like, why are we doing what we're doing? And how many hours do we want to be working on our business? When do we want to be working? Like, when are we at our best? If we're going to perform, we need to understand and be really curious about ourselves as leaders. So when are we going to perform? So I don't perform well if I'm working weekends and evenings, like continuously. I'm really happy to do it every now and then because that's a one-off. But my default contract is I work 3 days a week, and I do have like a Monday and a Friday off. I don't mooch Monday is going to be a thing.
I love it.
And I'm going to be doing more with the moon, but that's what my contract looks like. So my clients, if I book them in for meetings, generally we're on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Thursday's more like my creative day. I can go outside of that. It's totally flexible, but it means I don't resent kind of my working, and my boundaries are really, really clear, and I'm upfront about it. So I've designed my business model to completely work for me. And that's basically what I'm now helping so many business owners to do.
I think it is so important because, yeah, it's exactly what you say. You might leave the corporate world, the teaching world with all these hours, and then suddenly been piling it on and on and on. And you've got to remember what you left that world for.
Yeah, totally.
Danielle said, I love that you're on solid foundations. I'm so passionate about how important it is to build your business on solid foundations.
I totally agree with Danielle. You can't, my saying is, if you try to build it on sand, and I did that, it's exactly what I did, it wobbles. It has nothing. You can't scale a wobbly business. I know now that with the business model I've got in place, it's scalable, and actually it doesn't need, and of course, I think COVID has taught us we need a business model that is flexible and agile enough, because we have to be able to tweak it to fit. I think this is I hate to say it, but I do believe COVID is a bit of a warning to us about, things in the future. So we need to be flexible and nimble. But we also need that, that solid stuff to grow from, because otherwise.
Absolutely. Well, you said if you relaunched in 2019, obviously that was just as, 2020, but you've grown so massively in that time. And just looking on your you've had a busy old week. You've had something going on Monday. You've had challenges left, right, and centre. So, do you want to tell us what's going on in your world at the moment? Is there anything that we can look out?
Homeschooling. The homeschooling is not like literally. I'm a strengths coach as well, so I'm a real. It comes back to the joy. I'm all about finding where your energy comes from, and mine does not come from homeschooling. That I do.
I don't think anybody.
I'm not sure that I am feeling at my best right now, but I'm well aware of that. Like, I know about that. So my personal contract is having to be flexible at the moment. Yeah. There's definitely some more evenings and stuff going on, and that is important, just to put that there. But in terms of this week, so last week we had, I can't remember which week we're in or when it was, but I think it was last week, I ran my growth challenge, and that's really just about helping people embrace their role as leader. So we went through 3 days. I love them, because what I really love is that people trust you, and they come in, like strangers come in, and they join in, and they really embrace what you set them, and the light bulb moments and the insights just amaze me. That's why I do what I do. I love it. So we came out of that. I'm always very transparent. I was launching the 3rd cohort of my program. So I created a program this time last year, so just before COVID hit, which is mental.
Wow. Seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does. And in January, we brought in our first it was called the Growth Academy Get Set for Success, but it's now called Get Set for Success, which is part of the Growth Academy. Don't ask. But so we did that in January, and then we did it again in June, right in the heart of the pandemic, which was amazing, because we were able to support lots of business owners through really difficult times, which I think was important. So we've opened up. We opened on Monday night. I did a 5 steps to a dream business model workshop, and then we opened it up again for the 3rd time. So we're now welcoming in new business owners who really want to work. So I've got a 4P leadership framework that I go through over 6 months. We work really closely together. I keep the numbers quite small, because I like to get involved in their businesses. So I'll be working with them up until June, when we open the doors again. So the doors are open. If anyone
I was just going to say, is that can you catch up on the Monday masterclass? Is that available?
You can, there is a link. So if you just want to reach out to me on any of my socials, I'm all over the place. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, you'll catch me somewhere, or you can email me. We can get you the link, and then you can actually jump into the challenge group. It is still open. Obviously the challenge isn't running, but you can catch up on it. I think we'll keep it open probably until the doors close for the program on Monday. So
you close this next coming Monday?
Yes, the Get Set for Success program closes next Monday, and the value and the it's insane. The speakers we've got coming in is just super excited. It's incredible.
And what are your social handles? How can people find you?
You can get, that's a really good question. I should so know that, and I have no idea. I have no idea. You'll just have to Google me, because my son tells me. My son tells me I'm famous. He does it with his friends. So I'm sure if you Google me, I come up somewhere.
Yeah, I found you
go
on
to my
Facebook.
website.
I found you on Facebook and found you on Instagram under Leigh Howes.
Yeah, Leigh Howes. Our website is leighhowes.com. So if you go there, all of my handles are on there, and I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram.
Amazing. So any business owners that would love to get a piece of Leigh, and I'm sure after hearing your chat, I'm sort of thinking, ooh.
Well, your movement sounds amazing, and I really believe that's what parents need, because it's just so important. There's like a little spark that goes out in you when it's that alignment, isn't it? If you've gone back from like being employed and loving what you do, and then you've had a baby and things have changed and that spark's gone, and you're like, I still really want to do what I do. I think it's incredible what you're doing. People need it.
Well, for me, I've been teaching for 15 years, and I absolutely love teaching. And it's really weird because I'm surrounded by a lot of teachers that don't love teaching and and want get out plans. And I've never had a get out plan because I've always loved it. But was it last year? No, was it the year before? Gosh, time's ticking on. 2019. I experienced a very traumatic incident in my personal life. And as a knock-on effect of that, I was diagnosed with PTSD, and I've experienced an awful lot of trauma at the hands of my ex-partner, which has had a knock-on effect on my daughter. And it came to the point where one day my daughter was poorly. It turns out she had scarlet fever.
Oh gosh.
And I was so stressed because I was speaking at Inset about my role as middle leadership as literacy coordinator, and I was more bothered about that than my daughter, and it was from there that I just thought, gosh, she was struggling, we've both been diagnosed with PTSD, and I wasn't able, there wasn't a personal contract because my job, because I am like yourself, very driven, very ambitious, and I'd been consumed by it. And it was actually lockdown that gave me that opportunity to sit back and think and look at different things in my life and how I could change it. So I'm still teaching now. I'm part-time and I'm building the business as well. And it's amazing. It's just enlightened me. And I just want to share that spark with so many other women because, I look around and I personally know so many women that could and want to be more. And there's no reason why we can't be.
No, there's not. And I think it's really interesting what you say, that trauma can often be the catalyst to positive change. And I
like yourself with your diagnosis.
Totally. And I can remember at one point before the diagnosis, same thing. I was my son, who was 2 at the time, had pneumonia and he was in hospital and he was so poorly. We didn't know whether he was going to pull through. And I was on the phone to a client because I needed to get the job nailed because it was recruitment at the time. And that was the first catalyst for me, because I was like, what am I doing? This is not why I started my business. This is mad. So, I think every time I always think there's lessons. It might be whispering, but there's a lesson there if we'll listen to it. And the more self-aware and curious we can be, the more open we are to change.
Absolutely. And I think, it's something that you're leading from the front with this, and, all the leaders that you're working with are no doubt inspired by you, because I'm inspired by you just by this.
I'm inspired by them. I'm inspired by you. I think that's the thing. There's inspiration all around us if we listen enough to it.
And I think that's what's changed my world is finding this group of women, of people that are empowered, that have got each other's backs. There's, we've all got our own businesses, we've all got our own agendas, but we've all got each other's back at the same time. And I just think, the mentors and the people that I've been working with, they've literally changed my life in the last year. And I know that I'm starting to do that for other people as well. And I'm only at the beginnings of my business. So it's really the ripple effect. Absolutely.
Yes.
Who have we got on here? Danielle, brilliant show, ladies. I've really enjoyed it. Do you know what? I've almost forgot that there's people out there. We've just
really enjoyed talking to you.
Jojo, hi Jojo. Community is everything, 100%. And the Hive, obviously this is where it's at. It's wonderful. Right. So it's been an absolute joy to chat to you today, Leigh.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Best of luck with the latest what am I saying? Course.
Get set for success.
Get set for success. Find this wonderful lady, and a reminder to everybody out there: if you've got Zoom fatigue, it's a thing.
God.
It will be in the dictionary soon.
We are so keen to meet, right? That's what we want.
Teams fatigue. Take that time for personal contracts and give yourself some respite. So it's been lovely to have you. Thanks,
Monday. Let's make Mooch Monday. Let's make
Monday. Mooch Monday. It's got to be a thing. Hashtag Mooch Monday. Everybody in the hive.
Movement right there.
Thanks, Leigh. It's been lovely to have you. Thanks. Bye. Wow, what a wonderful conversation that was. I absolutely love talking to Leigh. That was wonderful. Gosh, that time has just flown. Here was me worrying when I agreed at 10 p.m. last night to stand in that I wouldn't have enough to say. Who'd have thought? Anyone that knows me knows I never struggle with things to say. So that's nearly time. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your wonderful comments. Sarah Bennett, Esther, Jojo, Danielle, Becca, thank you for being here. And everybody out there, share the show, share it onto your Facebook. Lovely to get as many people with their eyes on this fabulous community as possible. If you want to follow me, I'm Louisa Herridge. I'm Mamas Ignited across all my socials. So at Mamas Ignited on Instagram and Facebook. And I also have an amazing community called the Bloomery. Mamas Ignited for me is all about the fire and the spark, and I've named it the Bloomery because the Bloomery is the name of a furnace, and this is where we extract the molten iron, and you ladies are the precious metal that is extracted. And we all go through stuff like Leigh was talking about, her cancer diagnosis, trauma, pressure, self-sabotage, anxiety, depression. We chat about it all. So if you want another piece of me, I'd love to see you over in the Bloomery. So you can add me as a friend on Facebook, Louisa Herridge, or follow me at Mamas Ignited. So good luck today, ladies, with the full moon. I will be thinking of you all at bedtime when we try and get those little monkeys into bed with the full moon. Enjoy any full moon rituals that are going on this weekend. And lots of love from me. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you for being with me. Bye.